Well, Bruno, this Man United team has been widely criticised and, to be honest, completely written off before today. How about that for a response?
No, obviously criticised unfairly because the position in the table says it all. We lost too many points. Even today, we can't be happy with the draw because we need points more than they need, to be honest. And obviously, I think it's a really good result. We could have even won the game at the end. But I think it's a fair result. I think both teams played a really good football, intense, some good chances from both sides, but we can't be satisfied, to be honest. And I'm pretty upset because if we show this today here at Anfield against Liverpool, that is first in the league, that is being probably the outstanding team in the Premier League this season, why we can't do this every week? And it frustrates me for first because I think finally I did a proper performance overall, and we need to be aware, and we said it before the game. We need much more from ourselves to get something from this season. We need to put some pride out because it ain't enough for us.
So, do you have an answer to your own question? Where has that been?
No, it's been here. It's been here, but it's not coming through. Today it came, but we now need to look forward. We did 1 point. Obviously, being 2-1, then scoring. It's always good to get a point, but we need more. We need more, and now we have a FA Cup game against Arsenal. That's going to be really, really tough again. But we want to be in that final again, so we need to get this standard in every game. Like, I wasn't worried about everyone putting an effort today because it's Liverpool. Everyone's going to try to do their best. I will probably be more worried about Southampton after this performance that we think was already good enough and is not, because it's going to be a really tough one again. Yeah,
and you said a proper performance from yourself. Have you been getting frustrated with your own levels then?
Oh, I think when you get into games where you feel that you can, I think you always can do more. I come out of the games and it's not like today's also one of them where in the first half, probably in 3-4 moments where I'm driving the ball forward, I need probably to hold up a little bit more the ball instead of trying to go for 1-2, because we know how tough it is to play against Liverpool when they win the ball and they do a big transition, because they have really fast players and really good players on the ball in the midfield to drive the ball through. With Curtis and I think Gravenberch, they probably one of the best in the. They win the ball and they do a big transition because they have really fast players and really good players on the ball in the midfield to drive the ball through. With Curtis and I think Gravenberch, they probably one of the best in the league. Szoboszlai that didn't play today, and then McAllister with the more the ball, get in there and then time up the spaces for everyone to get up, and then we can play from there.
Do you think you really benefited from the training week you've had? The manager talked about you not really having the time since he's been in charge, and you've had a bit of a block this week, and it felt like we could really see that on the pitch.
Obviously it helps, but I think it's not about that. Today was about putting a real effort onto the game, playing with some passion, because this game is your art that's going to give you something from this game. Is obviously that you have the tactics, you have the way you want to play, you have the positions where you have to be and everything, but at the end of the day you need to put your effort in, and that's why we get something from this game today.
But lastly, it can only be the start. This has got to be continued now.
Yeah, of course, you can't stop here. What I was saying. And I think we have to bring this frustration to the next games, because in a good way, to understand that this is our level, this has to be our level, and if we can do it this at Anfield today, we have to do it every week.
Well played. You are the player of the match.
Thank you very
much.
Well done,
Bruno.
Thank you.
Captain Paulie says that was a proper performance. So go back to Monday and today. What's the difference for you? Why so much better today?
I think personnel makes a big difference. I think the middle of the pitch is always an important area. I'm not just saying because I played in there, but I always think it's the most important area of the pitch. And Monday obviously wasn't right. We knew before the game, looking at the team we picked, it was never going to cope with the energy of Newcastle. Today we knew we had half a chance with Agati and Mainu. And I actually think Casemiro and Eriksen could probably play with Agati as well. I don't think. No, you don't just rule them out. Just playing them together is it's a no-no. You mentioned effort there, didn't you? A lot effort in the smaller games that they can't seem to get themselves up for them games for some reason. I don't know why, but I think he's right. That was a proper performance today. Go to Anfield and go toe-to-toe with the best team. As I say, they beat Manchester City, who have been the best team for 4 or 5 years. But that performance was nothing like this. This was better. And I know they didn't win the game like they did at City, but I take more out of that performance than actually winning against the champions. I think now, as he said, that's a blueprint. That's the way they have to go forward. They have to follow up now. That's the standard, as he said. But I think the manager, by now, he should know all his players. I think he's chopped and changed so much. I think now there's a...
Is that pretty close to what you think is available his best team today?
Yeah, it has to be. Who else can come into that? Luke Shaw, if he's possibly fit. Euro to right outside centre-half. Garnacho possibly, but not quite. I don't think he gets into it. But
so then, do you want to see him continue, fitness permitting, with that sort of 9 or 10 of that 11 we've seen today for a consistent period?
If them 11 are fit, they have to play until players perform badly and they don't get into the team. Yeah, exactly. Now that is the standard that they've set. That's the standard that they've got to reach in games to come, and I don't see any reason why they can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, games to come will be different. Of course, as Scholes, you mentioned, that's as good as it gets from an opponent's point of view. You're playing against one of the best teams in the world in Liverpool, in their backyard. That's as tough a test as it comes. Bruno Fernandes mentioned Southampton. When you're playing these teams, exactly, you're going to have much more of the ball this time. It's a totally different game to what it is today. Today is getting up against it, being brave, taking the ball, taking the sting out of the game.
But the effort levels is what Paul's talking about, isn't it? That we haven't always seen in those Bournemouths at home when they've been losing, Wolves, etc.
Yeah, it's dangerous to go down the effort route, I think. Quality of play, yes.
He went down that route himself, didn't he?
He did. He said we've got to keep
team.
We've got to keep those levels. But I never heard him say we don't try against other teams. It's.
No, but I think he was hinting that Liverpool away, you're obviously up for it more than perhaps Southampton at home.
It's a different game. I find it hard to believe that a team that have won nothing for a good while, okay, they won a cup last year, but they're not a winning machine at the moment. I find it hard to believe that they can have their ups and downs in terms of, well, turn it on in this game and not in others. I think the opponent has a massive influence, not on how much you try, it's just the way the game unfolds and the demands of that game. But the quality and the personnel, as Paul says, that changes from game to game. And now they're playing Southampton next, let's say, or the next league game. That's a totally different kettle of fish to going away to Anfield. Now you're on the front foot. Now you've got to try to open a team up and maybe take risks and maybe leave holes in behind as well. So it's a different kettle of fish. But
did anybody expect that level of performance from Manchester United? I'm not sure. Put that performance in context, Roy.
Well, obviously a surprise to me. I said before the game, I just looked at the whole team. I looked at their performances recently, the lack of goals.
You gave them no chance?
Yeah, I did.
So what was different?
What Bruno just said there, they turned up. He said they showed a bit of passion. But obviously the argument to all of this stuff, and I don't want to take away from United today, is to do that in the other games. They've done it at City recently. You can't just pick and choose when you want to turn up for a game at Man United and have passion today, and it's typical questions asking a player after a match going, well, how come you can't do it week in, week out? He's just a player himself. But when you're a senior player, the key is to turn up for every game with that passion and that quality. And they showed the quality today. And I don't think anyone would have predicted Man United probably certainly scoring 2 goals today and nearly won it at the end. Liverpool had their chances, of course they did, and I'll take my hat off to United today. They showed a bit of passion, lots of quality, a bit of fight, and they kind of showed what playing for Man United is all about. But the key is, obviously, they've got to back it up. They've got to back it up. In the next week, obviously, the Arsenal in the Cup next, they've got to turn up with the same attitude, the same level of performance, the same fighting spirit, and then you've got a chance of winning matches.
Do you think they surprised Liverpool with their level today?
Yes, but when I listened to Arne Slot's interview before the game, he said they've got the players and they've got the talent in the squad, but the performances haven't, garnered the results. And today, I think they've shown their true colours, maybe in terms of the manager's system and how they played it, and they showed a lot of fight, they showed a lot of composure on the ball, and that's been lacking in recent weeks, of course. So I think they performed to a level where the manager can be proud, the players can be proud of themselves to say, look, like Bruno said in his interview, this is what we can be. But in turn, you have to do that every single week. You can't pick and choose against the bigger teams. You say, OK, all eyes are on us today, lads. We're going to perform and give our best games. But when you're playing against the lesser teams, when you're expected to get the results and you're expected to create things and they don't respect you or you don't respect them as much, that's when you've got to put those teams away.
And United should come out with... I hope the message coming out from United over the next few days is also that, listen, we actually still have that belief. I know the manager spoke before the game about they're anxious and they're nervous, but the players have to come up with a message. We still believe we can turn in them type of performances. We have seen them before. The problem is they don't do it week in, week out. Far from it. They're very inconsistent. You should look at the league table and the goals against. It's so bad. It's unbelievable. But the players, you ask for honesty from your group of players, but I don't think this group of players are honest. Because if you're not putting in a performance week in, week out, there's something obviously amiss. But I think they have a chance in the next few days to also play it cool. Everyone will be criticising Liverpool now, but Liverpool also, no need to panic from Liverpool's point of view. It's another point, it's another game, and listen, they could have won it themselves. But United shouldn't get too excited. As a Man United player, coming to certain stadiums and getting results, like against Man City, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and also send that message going, listen, there's still a bit of trust amongst us that we can get results.
Brilliant game of football, Tim. What are Manchester United taking away from that?
I think from their levels have been so up and down. But Ruben Amorim, that's a signature performance since he's been in charge. And I think every manager needs that. Every time a new manager comes in, I've heard it before, that you'll have a game like that and they'll say, right, that's the level, that's the standard. So when we train, we'll train to that standard. When we step on the pitch, every single game here on after, that has to be the standard because I know now you're capable of doing it. So that's a good thing, and I thought they played really well.
Graham talked about character, he talked about personality, maybe as important, if not more, than the point they take away.
Well, I think they take so much away. They take more away from the game than Liverpool do, obviously. You know, with a couple of defensive issues we'll talk about in the highlights. I mean, just a huge emotional effort from Manchester United. The players owed the fans that. They owed them a performance, roll the sleeves up, fight in the rain. It was like a couple of old sluggers in a boxing match. It's just at the end of the 12 rounds, they're just hitting each other with shots and who was going to stand up, the conditions, the effort, the lack of control that we expected from Liverpool. You know, Liverpool were a bit more... I don't know, it felt a bit more kind of like Klopp, Liverpool, second half. They had to be fair, and they stepped up and they turned up the heat in the second half, but then they lost a little bit of control and Man United still had the energy to almost win it at the end there. That was just a great advert. It's one of that old cliche, great advert for English football.
What will Liverpool learn?
Well, it's just such a big game. I think Liverpool know who they are. I do. I think they know who they are. They're in big moments, and I think what they learned is they didn't end up losing the game, which they could have. And I think if they're going to go on and win the Premier League, they're going to have to fight in games like this and not lose them, and they did that today. But again, lesson learned.
They got opened up a lot, Liverpool. And there's one thing that we've talked about as a potential wrinkle is defensively. And United could have had 4, really. So that's maybe what they learn and take from the game, that defensively they've got to get back to being really tight.
OK.
From Mo Salah, Manchester United fans know all about him, that's for sure. 15 goals in 16 games for Liverpool against United. But he says they're far away at the moment from any progress. Would that be an obvious concern for him to be saying that at this stage?
I think it's a concern, but obviously the good thing is that only if... And that just shows to me, which I've always thought, is that there's a desire from both parts to do something here. Mo Salah, I believe, wants to... Otherwise, he wouldn't even send his agent into bat. He would just, you know, we're not going to sign, we're going to leave at the end. He says that we're far away, but that, in my eyes, is a positive. They're talking, they'll get closer. That's what negotiation is. Everybody has this type of negotiation where you're far away to start with and you come close. It's just that this is being played out so much in public that we all think, you know, this is different to others. It's not. It'll be very, very similar to any negotiation. You start there and you come closer. So the very fact that they're talking is a big positive in my eyes.
But Liverpool fans still won't like to hear him say, I want to win.
He wants 2 years, and the way he's playing, you can understand that. Look, I think it's a bit different from our day. We were talking 34, 35, you probably finished. I think these days, especially with him, he's a proper athlete. If you take his top off, Jesus. He's special. He's almost a 27, 28-year-old, really. in the way he is. So, look, if Liverpool have got that policy where it's after 30 years of age, it's 1 year, then they're going to have to break it because they're going to miss him. Of course, okay, they've got some brilliant forwards already, probably another 3 or 4 of them, but this man is a game changer and someone that can really lead them to win the Premier League.
Yeah, we've just been talking about if Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't there next season, how differently Liverpool have to play. We're talking about the title race. For instance, if Mo Salah's out for the rest of the season, now, do Liverpool still win the title?
Yeah, I think they do. Personally, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to go and Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk are going to stay. That's my feeling right at the outset, and that continues to be my feeling now.
Would you settle for that now?
Yes. Yes, because I think it's pretty likely now that Trent's going to go. So to get...
Why do you say that? Because he...
There's a different...
The lure of the white shirt.
Made the same move, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's a big thing.
Well, it got in your head, didn't it, the white shirt?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know, and it's out there that there's different noises coming out with Mo Salah. The noises of Mo Salah are... Madrid officially came in for him the other day, and there's no talk of, oh no, he's asking for this, and if he doesn't get it, then he's going to... There's none of that talk.
What do you think
it's
he should
very
do?
different.
Trent.
What would you advise him to do if you were his brother?
I think it's so personal preference. One thing I do believe is that if he goes, he should absolutely still be thought of in a great way. This is... You get one crack at it.
Will he be?
Possibly it might scar some Liverpool fans thinking, you know, what more do you want? We're the best team in the world probably at the moment. You're winning all these trophies. You could be a legend forever and ever and ever. But then again, and I'm sure that's eating at him a little bit, but also that white shirt, a new country. I mean, if you retire, it's a different experience. You know, it is an incredible thing to do.
It's a very as Michael said there a minute ago, Liverpool are probably the best team in Europe now. Certainly the best team in the Premier League. They're probably better than Real Madrid.
But you sense, Paul, that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Trent Alexander, because Real Madrid will sign a right-back, won't they? Whether it's him or somebody else.
They will, yeah, because Danny Carvalho's, 33 years of age.
So if he doesn't go now, that opportunity might not be there.
I think he will go, but as I said, as Michael said there, it's a very tough decision because he's at a club now who are brilliant. Could he play in possibly a better team than this? I don't think Real Madrid are better than him at this point. But for the next 10 years, Real Madrid probably will be.
The last thing on it, the hard thing is that it's not that he's going to be, 100%, I don't like me. It'll tear him apart. But if he's 51% yes, 49% no, people have got to forgive him that and think, do you know what? You know, good luck to you. You did amazing at Liverpool. Go and enjoy the rest of your career.
I must say, he looks like a Real Madrid player.
It does, yeah. Imagine how good
he is.
That's a mischievous comment from a former Manchester United player. No goals then in that first half at Anfield between Liverpool and Manchester United. Paul, Ruben Amorim talked about staying in the game. They've done a little bit more than that, haven't they, Manchester United?
Yeah, they have obviously defended really well, first and foremost, but they've also been in the game at the other end. They've had a couple of chances. Højlund, I think, possibly could have done better. And, yeah, I think they've been a real threat. I mean, it's been a really good game. I think both teams have had a couple of decent chances, so hopefully second half a bit more of the same. Yeah,
and from a Liverpool point of view, they had the strong start, but Paul's right. They've been asked a few questions, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been reasonably well balanced. Chances either end. A little bit bitty for the first 10 minutes, a couple of injuries and whatever, nobody could get into their flow. But in general, we thought Manchester United had played deep, sit deep and counter-attack. They've done that, but they've actually offered something going forward, which you always need to do. So it has been a good game. Could have gone either way so far. Nicely poised. But it's not been like a shut-up shop type of 0-0. It's been, you know, reasonably, not open, but there's been chances.
They certainly have. So let's deal with Liverpool's first of all. They've had 2 or 3. Cody Gakpo very early on. Yeah. Should he score here?
Yes, this is a big chance. He does everything right. His choice of finish is right. He could go with his left foot. But he's basically, if you go for the dink, you've got a full goal to aim at. All you have to do is lift it, and then it's a full goal. So, you know, to miss the target from 6 yards out, that's a big chance. This is a really good chance, but I think when the ball is coming over your shoulder like this, you can't really pull it into the far corner. You normally miss kick it, it goes high and into the near top corner. But as it happens, he actually strikes it really well, and it's just a good save. I don't blame him for for that at all. It was a good run. This is a great strike. I like it when Gravenberch drives forward. He's got that in his locker, hasn't he? And just needs a little bit of fade on that. We were talking before the game, me and Paul, about how to fade a ball. He just needed a little bit of advice from Scholes on that one.
And before the game as well, we were talking about when United get opportunities, try and take them at Anfield. Ahmad had the first. Could he have done anything different in front of the Kop here, Paul?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Could he have gone across Robertson? I think he could possibly there. And then if he does that, that makes Diallo pass the ball on the floor. I think he had to lift it because if it's on the floor, I think Robertson cuts out with the run he made. He does get a little bit past it, doesn't he? He can't quite shape his body back to get it on target. And look, it's a little bit unlucky. He's just there a little bit too soon. But anything different than just run across that front post, get in front of your man. I think Ireland's been a threat to Canate, sleep him. What can he do differently there? Can he whip it into that top corner? I think there Michael will tell you better than I will, but I think you keep that low. I think everything low's got a chance. It can dribble into that far corner, it can go through the keeper's legs. It lacked conviction for me. It was more of just a kick at the goalkeeper.
He's not got many options. You can't dink, you can't go around the goalkeeper. He's obviously on his left foot, so the spin is going away. If he goes into this far top corner, it's hard because the ball is always going away. It's going too close to the goalkeeper. I personally think through the goalkeeper's legs or near top corner, high and near post or low and through the legs. And as you see there, Alisson almost lifts his left leg as he's about to strike it. The nutmegs was on. The nutmegs was on there. I think it was low and hard, as Scholes said.
He does nothing in the end, does he? Just
safe.
Safe, yeah.
Is that the man who just scored twice all season as well?
Yeah, exactly. This is high-end stuff. I've said to you before, Steve. Hitting the target is not in your dictionary as a centre forward. This is high-end stuff. You've got to find corners. You've got to be brave. You've got to go through the legs, find a top corner. Just being safe and hitting it into Alisson. He's going to play percentages and make himself big. Not good enough.
Look, I know it's only half-time, and Liverpool traditionally have got a great record in the second half of games, but from United's point of view, is that a small step forward in terms of feeding belief that they can get something here, that first half?
Yeah, look, I was really happy with that performance. OK, Liverpool could have scored, of course they could, but United could have scored too. I just think there's a better athleticism about the team. We go back to Monday night again. You felt beforehand that it wasn't the right team. You felt it was going to get beat. This team looks better. There's a better shape to it. There's better players, I think, on the football pitch. There's that core of the team that you think they can handle the ball. Garcia and that Maynard's been a little bit sloppy at times in possession, but they'll handle the ball. They'll take the ball. I think Fernandes has been good. And more of the same second half. If they get them chances, though, they're going to have to take them.